Welcome back, everyone. Today, my co-host is Mr. Richard Advani from Bankers Invest. He's one of the nation's leading provider, the turnkey provider. And we have some great investment opportunities in this particular market, Oklahoma. And it's an emerging market. It's a small town USA. So without further ado, Mr. Richard Advani, take it away and see what's happening.
Absolutely. Nice to touch base with you again. I just got back from OKC, as I mentioned in the earlier webinar. My wife, my daughter, and I pretty much moved there. We spend more time there than here. And I got to say, it's getting bittersweet now leaving there. You take off in the plane and you just see this greenery and the river, and then you land in LAX and it's just chaos. As I mentioned on the last webinar, we have tons and tons that we're doing in Oklahoma, in the metro, in the north, the south, and the west, and the east. We're doing things everywhere. And we have so many models that we're working, right? As we discussed, from military housing to underserved rural America, to commuter towns, to building in the metro itself. This will probably be about a 5-part series where we're going to take you on a tour of Oklahoma and the various opportunities available. What we're going to do today is start in the north of OKC and move up north through the state. And the subsequent ones, we're going to cover the south, the east, and the metro itself. If you look at the map of OKC, if you look at this map right here, we have OKC, metro, and right up here, Guthrie. Now, Guthrie is actually considered part of the OKC metro. If you look at Guthrie, it's right near a town called Edmond. Edmond's right about here on the map. Edmond's pretty much the highest per capita zip code in the state of Oklahoma. That's where all the affluent people live, beautiful neighborhoods. It's where the only Trader Joe's is in OKC metro. My wife frequents that quite a bit, which is why we're considering moving to Edmond to be closer to that. But so Guthrie's about 17 minutes from the edge of Edmond. What Guthrie offers is a good amount more of affordability than Edmond, but also it's just a different type of life, right? It's not quite as crowded. The whole town of Guthrie is beautiful. That's where I want to live, right? It's close enough to Edmond and Trader Joe's, but it is such a beautiful historic town. Guthrie used to be the capital of Oklahoma before Oklahoma City became the capital. They have, I think, the largest historic district in the country. Their whole downtown area, over 2,000 buildings are like brick and beautiful. They're all occupied and bustling. What's interesting is I've done a couple tours where we'll leave OK City downtown and we'll finish looking around there and we'll head straight to downtown Guthrie. And downtown Guthrie, most of the time, is busier than actual downtown OKC. And so what we're doing there is we're building a development, a neighborhood of new homes. We're starting with 60 and we have the ability to expand there. I absolutely love Guthrie. That's where I would live. It's close enough to everything. It's far enough away, though. It is considered part of the OKC metro. And like I said, it's a quick 17-minute drive from Edmond. I'm going to pull up a video of the Guthrie downtown area. So it gives you a little idea of what I was talking about in terms of how beautiful it is and how historic. What's interesting in Guthrie, a lot of rural towns have rougher areas. And Guthrie's such a historic town that there really aren't any rough areas, right? From the new homes to the existing homes and everything in between. Guthrie's just beautiful. It's one of the most picturesque towns. Some people ask, of course, what's the economy there in Guthrie? It's like asking what the economy is in Pasadena. It's part of the metro. It's a beautiful suburb where people live. I wouldn't even say it's a commuter town. We're going to cover a commuter town that we work in some of these future webinars, but it's not even a commuter town. It's part of the metro. It's just a little more space, a little less expensive. And we're going to be delivering a product in the 220 to 240 range. We're going to have specifics on that in the next 30 or 45 days. Right now, this has 220 on there. Don't hold these numbers yet. Once we're launching this neighborhood, we will, of course, have specifics there. But the overall numbers in terms of the purchase price to rent ratio are going to be accurate. We are including free property management for the first 2 years. This is what I would consider an A-class asset. This is brand new, right? In an A-class neighborhood, if not A+. right? And town and community and area. I'm confident in Guthrie just because out of everywhere we work in, that's where I want to live. I've got a wife, I got a daughter. I want to live somewhere that's comfortable, not super crowded, but still close enough to everything if we want to go to it. On average for these ones, our goal is to deliver a north of 4% cash on cash to the investor. Every investor is going to run their performance differently. We don't have a vacancy factor factored in. If you throw it in, it will bring that down by about 1.25%. This is just an amazing long-term investment. If you look at the 10-year return here, 10-year return, we have at $120,000. That's based on your $55,000 down payment. That takes very conservative assumptions into account. A lot of performers you'll see out there, other markets have 6% and 8% for appreciation and rent growth. And the national average for appreciation the last 30 years is 5.7%. However, I use 2% for appreciation because I want to show even at 2%, which everyone will agree, that's the minimum we can expect as investors. It's a third of the national average. You still look at the 10-year return. And what's important is the cash flow is just a part of the overall wealth building. The appreciation, this $48,000 numbers based on 2% appreciation. Once again, we can all say comfortably that is realistic. If we experience higher appreciation, that number is going to go higher. Now, the rent growth, here's what's different about us. We include a provision that the rent will automatically increase at least 2% per year. Being an experienced investor, everyone has rent increases on their pro formas, but it's never increased. The only time you experience an increase is when you change tenants. And they're like, oh, by the way, it could rent for $250 more. And you're like, whoa, how long have we been leaving that on the table? The 2% increase is palatable by tenants. It does help us actually achieve these pro forma numbers, which otherwise you're not achieving it if no one's raising that rent. I'll take you guys on a little drive right here of the development. Let me see if I can. Are you hearing audio with that?
No.
Okay, let me see. I turn my audio on. Development outside Edmond. We're close to town.
There's no audio right now, but
So what I was covering there, as you can see, the neighborhood is already developed, right? We have the streets in, plumbing's in, electrical's in, everything's in. We're waiting on some city permits and approvals, and then we're ready to start pouring slabs and getting construction underway. The target is probably May of this year. Within the next 30 to 60 days, we will have the specific numbers on sale prices and start being able to accept contracts on them. I'm very excited about Guthrie. The neighborhood we're building is beautiful. There's a neighborhood right across the street from that, which is just probably half acre to acre lots. I mean, just beautiful. I have no doubt about how it's going to do. Guthrie has huge potential because it's such an underrated city overall, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning of a city, and that historic district in the winter too. They have huge Christmas shows. I mean, it's where I generally go when I'm in Oklahoma. If I have a weekend or a Saturday, I normally make the drive to downtown Guthrie with my family. All right. So what we're going to jump into next here is the town of Perry. Perry is about 45 minutes from OKC Metro. Although some people do commute from Perry to the OKC Metro, most of the market we're after is a company called Ditch Witch. Ditch Witch is part of a multi-billion-dollar company. They build construction equipment. Out of the population of about 5,000 people, currently employ about 1,800 to 2,000. They have a massive expansion coming in. Already broke ground a year ago, scheduled for completion around 2025. Perry's one of those towns where the median income has gone 2.5x in the last 10 or 12, 15 years. But there's been no housing. There's been no new housing for a very long time. There's nothing modern, nothing new and fresh, right? There are investors rehab properties and rent them out. The kind of thing we hear from every single person that walks into these homes is, wow, I never thought there would be something available like this in Perry. 2 weeks ago, I was giving a tour to some clients I had in town. I actually hadn't been to these 3 single family homes that we built in Perry. We're walking into one of them. I actually ended up buying one for myself on my own tour because they're such an amazing deal, right? Low 200,000s, granted, is 16, 14, 1,700 square feet. There are different sizes built next to each other. We'll do a walk-in tour of the one I bought. We were marketing them to primary home buyers. They weren't listed for rent. I talked to my team. I'm like, hey, I want to buy this one right here. I want to buy one. So we listed it for rent. It was a Thursday. By Monday, we had a lease agreement at $1,640. I bought this property at $215,000. The property taxes aren't super high. The insurance isn't super high. So as you can imagine, it was like a 7+% cash on cash return. Fantastic. And for anyone who wants to see the lease, the property, when you give me a call, I'm happy to share all that with you and share the address. We have 2 more actually right next to mine. One of them is they're showing today for lease. Both of these are in the low 200s. They are single family homes. I'm going to bring you guys back to the map of Oklahoma. I'll show you where Perry is. Then we'll watch a couple of videos on property, what it looks like, the finished product, and everything in between. If we get back up to the map here, you'll see we just talked about Guthrie, right? It's part of the overall OKC Metro. The OKC Metro is like Guthrie, Norman, Mustang, Yukon, all kind of a circle around here. Up here, you'll see Perry. Perry's home to Ditch Witch. Population is a little under 5,000 people. Ditch Witch is a multi-billion-dollar company. They have already been acquired by a billion-dollar company 3 or 4 years ago, and they're still in Perry, doubling down in Perry. A lot of people's concerns with the large company that provides a good section of the employment as well. Are they growing or are they expanding? What happens if they get acquired? What happens in that scenario? Guess what? They got acquired and they're doubling down in Perry. Costs of labor as well as taxes and everything else. Oklahoma is very business friendly, so there aren't very many reasons for a company established in Oklahoma from actually leaving Oklahoma. So Perry, I'm going to go ahead and play a video here. Hopefully the audio works. Let me know if it doesn't, and hopefully it doesn't echo as well. Bear with me.
I'm not hearing anything.
All right, let's see if it ends up working here.
The day when the starting rates
Going?
Ditch Witch new facility here in the area.
Yeah, but echo.
It's all soft community. It's the prime economic Henry. It's with the whole area really drilled on a 170,000 square foot states built with shilling lines, which will bring in $3 out the town, creating it. Saying to that expand and include sec and it simple influence.
Oh, that's what the world is working.
Megan mostly side.
I don't know what the wheelies on the cars have to do with, or the tractor wheelies. But as you can see, Ditch Witch is coming. As you can see, massive expansion coming to Ditch Witch. They're doubling down on Ditch Witch, on Oklahoma City. And they're already a big employer once they break ground here, as you can imagine. Even bringing in 100, 150 jobs, right? That doesn't sound like a crazy big amount. But when you're in a town of 4,000 people and no one's building homes, 100 homes is a lot for us, right? If I told you we got 150 tenants potentially ready to place in homes that we build, that's a strong draw. I experienced that once again on the one I bought that we listed for sale, and we'll do a walkthrough here in a minute of that property. The demand is going to not only continue to be huge because, this is the moving time of year, guys. People don't move right now. And the fact we're placing tenants in them this quickly is a very good sign. As this plan opens towards the second quarter of next year, or the expansion opens, there's going to be a huge demand of properties. And guess what? No one else is building them right now. We're the only ones doing it. We have inventory available, and potentially one of them rented out for an investor. I'll know by the end of today. If it's not sold already, odds are we'll have tenant occupied. The one we're about to walk through is the one I ended up purchasing. You can see there's 3 of them side by side. It was our test to see what the demand was. And we were building them for primary home buyers. But I was like, you know what? The numbers on this would work as an investment property. Let me be the guinea pig. I'll buy one. And this one we're going to walk through right now is the one about a week away from closing on. Tenants already placed though, which is fantastic. The house does need a little bit of a cleanup, so excuse the leaves and stuff. But as you can see, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, huge kitchen, granite, all appliances are included, washer, dryer, blinds, everything you need to rent out. Huge master bedroom. It's almost like a California master bedroom. You could easily fit a Cal King in there. That's the bathroom, dual vanity, and I guess the tour is over. As you can see, I'm going to pull up the pro forma here on this one. All right, so it's a 393 square feet. This is the one that we're showing for rent today. But we do anticipate rents to be a little lower than what I got because the square footage is different. But if you look at this, this is an A-class asset, brand new property. I'd say Perry's a B market, an average. This is actually about, the downtown is still growing there, though. It's nothing like Chickasha downtown yet. I may have a video of the Perry downtown that I'll show you guys. But if you look at this at 25% down with a vacancy factor included on this pro forma, you're at a 4.9% cash on cash, right? Amazing cash on cash for a brand new construction asset in a good area with strong metrics, with that expansion coming in as well. And once again, we're renting these super quickly here. What we're going to continue doing is building more and more of the single family homes, but we're also building our cottage product in the Perry area. In fact, Perry's the town where we started on our first cottage ever. And I'll pull that up here, show you guys a walkthrough and a pro forma of the cottage. I know you guys have seen it before. That's a product we're building in tons of markets across the country. And I'm going to have this pulled up for you in just a moment here. All right. So here's a pro forma on the cottage at even 20% down. So here's a 20% down pro forma on the cottage. We're selling these for $150,000. They rent for $12 to $12.50, and they generate over 7% cash on cash with the vacancy included. Currently, we only have about 5 of these that we're building in Perry. They're all side by side, right across the street from a little park. We are building these cottages in Perry in addition to single family homes. And what's cool is all in 37,000 at 20% down. Look at the return. And that's with a vacancy. If we took that vacancy out, you looked at true collected rents, it's like 8.5%, 9%. And I own a couple of these as well in different markets. I'll pull up a quick walkthrough video of one of them here. All right. So we'll do a quick walkthrough of one of the cottages so you guys can see what they look like. These actually, this is my cottage on the left. My buddy bought this one on the right. These are in a lot, and we are Airbnb-ing them, and they are doing fantastic. That's a whole conversation. But if you take a look at these, they are beautiful inside. Super modern, super fresh, nice colors, granite countertops. Once again, all appliances included, blinds, washer, walk-in closet. What's amazing is these are 880 square feet, but they don't feel like it. And which is how we're able to deliver them at $150,000 price point. Fenced backyard. Look how big the backyard is. Bigger than the house. And they're both essentially masters. Basically, we're going to be building these cottages, continue to build them in Perry, in addition to the single family homes. What we touched base on in Guthrie is going to be just those single family home neighborhoods. Yeah, I am going to stop sharing the screen here and jump back on to Yeah, there we go. So much going on, as we mentioned. These are just two of the markets that we're going to cover in this multi-part series. And there are so many different models within the models, right? I think I need to find a better term, but essentially we aren't just one market. We are a supermarket. We don't sell groceries though. We're coming the center of Oklahoma, the north, the south, the east, the west. And we're also building everything from single family homes to $350,000 single family homes and duplexes to high cash flow stuff. So we're serving every part of the market in the community. We're serving the working class, blue collar, white collar. And that's amazing because you really become part of the community at that point when you're serving the community and building all this type of housing. With that comes the seat at the table in the city planning meetings and being able to have a conversation with city managers and mayors and everything in between, because we're investing in the community, right? And the investors, you guys are investing in the community as well. Yeah. When you're buying these homes to provide good quality housing for the residents of these communities. And that's really what's been powerful and amazing for me on this building development real estate journey, is actually meeting the people in the community and meeting the civil leaders in the community. Talk about red carpet when you come to visit them. We're investing tens of millions of dollars in these communities. They bend over backwards, right? And then they come to us and say, hey, by the way, we got these lots over here that we actually own as the city. Would consider selling them to you at this really low price. Or there's an old school we can take down for you guys and open up those lots to you to build and continue doing what you're doing in the community. So once you get that level of involvement, that's where the magic happens. And that's what we're seeing. I am super excited about Guthrie. That's where I want to live. Close to Edmond, close to the only Trader Joe's around there. My wife loves Trader Joe's. It gives you an idea of, hey, the only Trader Joe's is that next town over. Guthrie and Edmond touch, right? And they border each other. Edmond is the highest per capita income in the whole state. Beautiful area. We're building homes in Edmond. They're high. They're like 330 price point, but that's like essentially buying in Pasadena or Beverly Hills, right? If you live in California, you're buying in a very good area, the best school districts, A+ area, A+ school district, A+ asset, brand new, right? So 2% is great, especially for those doing 1031s. You put 25, 35, 40% down, and it gives you a very good overall scenario.
Yeah, Richard, this is exciting. Are you working with just one builder or several builders in this?
We are building. My partner and I are the builders. We're going to cover some in other webinars where we are not the builder, but 90% of what we're offering, we are. Since I've been in Oklahoma for 3 or 4 months, and people are starting to realize that I'm there. I've had builders and developers reach out to me and say, hey, Richard, we heard you're in town. You work with investors. We've got these off-market properties that we're not planning on listing. Do you think you can help move them? I approach things as an investor. I know what we need. I know what we're looking for. I know which asset class needs to generate what type of return to be appealing. So I sit down with them. I'm like, hey, what are you selling them for? I'm able to sit down with them, negotiate. This is what the price needs to be. This is what incentives need to be. You need to cover management for 2 or 3 years. You need to do this. You need to do that. Then it will get us to this return, and I can sell that return because I would buy it at that return. I think that's what's become amazing, is getting these off-market listings on properties or neighborhoods that are on the open market. And I pre-negotiated all the incentives to make sure they work for us as investors.
Wow, this is so exciting. As I mentioned before on the previous webinars, that you are a real estate pioneer. You are making things happen. This is a small town, USA, boom towns, all the submarkets. This is the path of growth. It's really exciting. This is just a beginning of all this kind of boom town. Look, you and I have the same business concept, right? I mean, we promote built to rent homes in fast growing suburban and rural communities. And this is really exciting. We have a great vision, and investors getting early. This town is going to continue to grow, getting in early.
Well, and what I do know is Oklahoma is the next major investor state for multiple reasons. Not only is everything else around just through the moon, right? Look at Texas, look at Florida, look at Colorado, Idaho, everywhere, right? Geographically, what's the next state? It's Oklahoma, right? Yep. Oklahoma is the 5th most affordable living metro in the country. But you could buy a nice house in a nice neighborhood for $300,000. You can go out to dinner for a family of 3 and spend $20. You can't do that anywhere else. And It's a nice place to live. I don't know if you guys could hear what the CEO was saying, but he's like, we're invested in Oklahoma. We know it's a good place to live. We know it's a good place to raise families. I really genuinely like it there. I live in a beautiful house in Southern California. It's crowded everywhere and we have the weather going for us, but I think I'm a little more country at heart. So I really enjoy it there. We're spending more time there. What I found is I'm actually doing more things than I do in California just because everything's so much more accessible. It's less crowded. There's less traffic. So I'm going to downtown with my wife and daughter and spending time and going to the botanical gardens and doing those things that I would never do in California. You'd never catch me going to downtown LA. It's really amazing. It's a great place to live. Oklahoma's been overlooked. Kansas City, for example, has all the sex appeal, but it doesn't have the growth. If you look at Kansas City versus Oklahoma City growth, Oklahoma City's leaps and bounds outgrown KC in the last 10 years, right? But for some reason, it's not sexy. To your point of investors at Exxon, I'm working to make OKC sexy, right? That's one of my jobs as well, because I think it's sexy. As I bring these opportunities to more and more people and groups, I can guarantee you're not going to be able to just call in and get a property 90 days from now. You're going to be signing contracts for things out in the future because we're going to sell it of everything. There's nowhere else in the country you could buy a brand new construction asset at $150,000 that's built well with granite and real floors, not crap. It's insulated. Make a 7% cash on cash return. Brand new. It's impossible. And then we're offering A-class assets like Guthrie over 4.5% cash on cash. You cannot find that anywhere else in that type of neighborhood at that price point, generating that type of return. I have no doubt in my mind what's going to happen to Oklahoma. My job as the builder, the developer, the person helping move these is finding the balance point. In the metro in Guthrie, sky's the limit. As much as we built, we're going to sell. Perry, there's a big expansion coming on, but there's still going to be a certain threshold that the market can support. We can't go build 60 homes a year in Perry, but can we build 10, 15? Maybe next year, like 30 or 40 with the expansion coming on. Moving forward, there's going to be a certain cap that we build. We have direct communication from the mayors, the city planners, the employers are looking to us to serve the need. So we have a good idea of what that need is going to be. But there's going to be other towns we're working in that we're only building 8 a year when no one's built it for a long time and they're desperate for it and they're going to rent right away. But it's a super rural town. Nothing we covered today yet, but we'll cover those towns. What we're seeing, once again, it's super quick renting, but there's a balancing. Some towns may take 15 a year, some 6 a year. It's fun working through and serving those communities. I appreciate the opportunity to share and stay tuned for part 3 of this series. How many are going to be in the series TBD? I would say at least another 4 parts, maybe 6 parts because of the amount of stuff we have going on. Properties are available today in all the markets, even those we haven't covered yet. We have probably 110 properties in various stages of construction, not including that new home development in Guthrie. That's going to be 60 homes. So about 100 to 120 already constructed or complete, duplexes, cottages, single family, rented, not rented, everything in between.
That's very exciting. When I get a serious motivated investor, when I start my consultation with our members, we will go over the various opportunities in different locations. They can easily buy one or more at a time and follow your lead, and they can scale and build a real estate portfolio if they have the capital available. Just follow your lead, going into the various boom towns, small market, emerging markets, and buy early, buy often. In a few years down the road, and they have going to have a very nice diversified portfolio of A-class homes. Look, new constructions, new builds in most of the top 10 nations builders, definition of entry-level homes is like $400,000, $600,000. Nowhere else in the country you can find a new build for $150K, $220K, single-family home, or a $450K duplex, brand new. You're not going to find it because you have all the connections, you have all the collaboration by the local community, and it's a win situation for everybody, for people in those communities, for investors like us, and for renters that are renting a great product, great rental home. Everybody benefit. It's a win-win situation, and it's just it's an amazing opportunity for the foreseeable future, for years to come. All of us will grow together, not just financially, but in every aspects. I am pumped, motivated, serious, and our investors you have a lot of investment groups as well you work with, and this kind of homes is selling like hotcakes because there are more investors see the value of what you are putting together, the product you put together. There are more investors that are after this entry-level investment built-to-rent homes that you're promoting than there are supply available. So they get sold very quickly. So if you snooze, you lose. Right now is a great time to buy. When spring 2025 comes around, there'll be other buyers. So anyway, that's my recap. Final comment by you before we done?
Just playing on what you said, right? You're like, everyone follow his lead. I'm buying first in all these markets. I'm already bought as part of my diligence process and partnering with this builder and moving my family to Oklahoma. I made sure I did my diligence and I bought in all these markets. I tested our own system. I flew down my good friend who's a general contractor, home builder, last 20 years from California at the tail end to walk these frame stage, a concrete stage. How are they delivering this product at 150? What shortcuts are they taking? And the amazing answer I got was none. And I was like, I'm all in. I was like, babe, we're moving to Oklahoma. Thank you guys for sharing again. We'll film another one here in the next couple of days. So hopefully within 3 to 5 days of this one hitting, we'll have another one out. Appreciate the opportunity. Reach out to Seewing if you have any other questions and have any other needs. Look forward to sharing more with you guys.
Thank you so much, Richard Advani from Bankers Invest. Have a nice day, everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye.